It is the Rated R Sportscast. And I've said it before, the number one sportscast on the Two Shots Network, which is not true because we have four sports podcasts on the network. And basically, I'm in the top four. Even though I'm number four, I'm in the top four. That's what matters. This is the number four rated show on the network just for now until all you peeps start liking it and listening to it a lot more. This is the Rated R Sportscast. I am your host, Rudy Campos Jr., the Rated R Sports Star, joined by my co-host, who is in here every week from now on. I went ahead and promoted his ass to permanent co-host. That is the Rambassador Giovanni. So, Gio, did your panties get wet when I sent you that message saying I want you as my co-host?
Well, there was a bit of excitement, though I couldn't wet too much because I had a Skype meeting on my job, so I couldn't get too excited.
Now, okay, you had a Skype meeting for your job, so I just got to ask, did you wear pants to that meeting, or were you free balling, or did you have boxers on only? Or
normally, for some reason, I actually put sweatpants. I know they can't see me, my underneath, but for some reason, I just like to put on pants just in case something happens.
Oh, I totally get that, man. You know, there's times where, you know, I might be Skyping or FaceTiming, and I'm bare butt cheek on the couch or something. So that's just something for you people to think about. A lot of y'all don't know what I look like, and it's not a pretty sight. But also tonight, we've got a special guest tonight. It is not Austin Hartsfield, who is out doing some family business tonight. He's got a family dinner or something tonight. But Austin does join us from time to time. We've got a special guest here tonight. Very special guest. This is the man behind the glass. This is the guy that will help with the podcast behind the scenes. You'll hear him talk every now and then. He's making his official Rated R Sportscast debut. Mr. Chris Gallard, welcome to the show. I know you're very nervous because you've never been in this type of atmosphere, but trust me, it'll be fine. You will do fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. Yeah, not with you, not with the superstar.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we're not quite at Joe's level. We're not quite at Austin's level. We're not quite at the guys, the live from the 815 level, but we're getting there. We're going to get there pretty fast. And at the end, I have a small challenge for the guys from the 815. So hopefully they listen to this, but we're going to get started. It's All-Star Weekend. So this whole show is going to be about NBA. I have one announcement also for the live at the 815 at the end, also for Austin's podcast. There's also another announcement involving the San Antonio Commanders that I will give out at the end, but it's All-Star Weekend. Everything NBA on this show. Woo! Awesome, because we are an NBA town. Yeah, we are an NBA town, obviously, with the Spurs, who are not performing, to expectations. And I won't get into that too much because we're taking 10 days off or 9 days off from the Spurs, and I need this break. Right now, it just came at a good time. It was Valentine's Day last night, so I didn't have to buy the Spurs anything because I'm not in love with them anymore. But knowing that it's All-Star Weekend, we have the Rising Stars game tonight. We've got guys like Luka Doncic, who he's going to be MVP talk probably within the next few years. You're going to have to mention him in the MVP talk. Lauri Markkanen, DeAndre Ayton, all the young guys, Jaren Jackson Jr., they're all playing tonight. Trae Young. I'm not going to get into that, but since it's All-Star Weekend, I want to hit up some of the events, and I want to get who is going to win each event. I want y'all's take on it. So we're going to get right into it. We're going to jump right in. Like if, it's the hot chick on the bed and she's butt naked, we're just going to jump right in.
Jump right on in, Rudy.
Yeah, we're going to go bareback on all these. We're not even going to protect the tool. We're going to go bareback. So the 2019 Taco Bell Skills Challenge. Remember the names, guys. If you have them in front of you,
Taco Bell sponsoring that challenge?
Yes, Taco Bell, because it's a shitty challenge. It's a shitty event. You have to have the shitty Taco Bell.
You couldn't get Chipotle?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Well, okay, if you get Chipotle, then you run the risk of having the salmonella or anything like that. I don't think Taco Bell's ever been associated with salmonella or anything. The only thing Taco Bell's been associated with is the squirts. That's it. You're guaranteed if you eat Taco Bell, you're shitting pretty much all night. I mean, that's a gimme. So that's why I guess it's the Taco Bell Skills Challenge, because it's a shit competition. and it's the first competition usually of the night, so they have to get the shit out of the way first. These are the guys that are going to participate. I'll give you my pick at the end, and then we'll go from there. You have Jason Tatum, you have Trae Young, you have Luka Doncic, Mike Conley, Kyle Kuzma, De'Aaron Fox, Nikola Jokic, and Nikola Vucevic. The last two, I'm not going to say a big man can't win this because they have won it before. But who in that group of guys do you see winning this shit skills challenge, the Taco Bell shit skills challenge? Gio, who do you think's going to win this one?
I got Trae Young. I think from watching him, for a little bit this year, I think his versatility, and I think he kind of fits well with this challenge. So I want to go with Trae Young. If I have to bet money on it, I won't. But I'm going to take Trae Young.
Not a bad pick. Hey, Trae Young's point guard. You need to have point guard skills in this, and that's the reason why I can see Jokic being in there. He's kind of like a big man's point guard, so I can understand the passing because you got to do a chest pass, you got to do a bounce pass, you got to do all this other bullshit. So Galler, you're making your debut here, man.
Yep.
Who do you got winning the Taco Bell's shit skills challenge?
Well, considering I hardly ever get to watch the All-Star Weekend because I'm always doing something or forget, I'm watching it this year, hopefully.
All right.
But I'm gonna have to go with Luka.
That's a strong pick.
This kid is he's impressing me. Every time he's on, either that or the Lakers. Kuzma's also up there, but I'm gonna have to go with Doncic. I just feel like his skill set. I mean, we all know he can shoot, but I don't know. Other than that, I just
he's got the passing ability too, and I'm gonna go with that too. I'm gonna go with Doncic. Luka Doncic. Out of all these guys, I see Trae Young making a good move. I think it's gonna be between Doncic and Young if they're in different brackets. Tatum, I don't see doing much. Conley, no. Kuzma's got a good chance, but I just don't see Kuzma doing it. The other guys, Fox, Jokic, and Vucevic, I don't think they're gonna do it. Luka's on fire right now, so I'm gonna stick with the hot hand. Go with Luka Doncic. I am like full chub every time I see Luka Doncic play. I mean, this guy's skill set is amazing. So give me Doncic for the win on the skills challenge. We've got Gio with Trae Young and his lisp going for number one. And we're going to head on to the next one. The Mountain Dew. Are you okay with the sponsor of the 3-point contest, Gio? Might be Mountain Dew. Gio there? Gio? Maybe not. Gio may have to take a piss or something. But Mountain Dew is sponsoring.
Oh, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, now I can hear you. Are you okay with Mountain Dew being the sponsor of the 3-point contest?
Well, doesn't a lower sperm count last time I checked? Or is that a myth?
Sound effects? Ding, 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 ding. I have no idea.
Is that a myth? Or I've been hearing that throughout my childhood. That Mountain Dew lures.
If it's on the internet, it's true. So
always
Wikipedia.
Yeah. If it's on Wikipedia, it's true. So,
and if it's not true, we'll change it in Wikipedia to make it true.
So we're gonna go with the Mountain Dew low sperm 3-point contest. These are your competitors. You have Devin Booker. You have Seth Curry, Stephen Curry, Danny Green, former Spur. Trash. You have Joe Harris, Buddy Hield, Damian Lillard, Chris Middleton, Kemba Walker. And you have the man, the myth, the legend, the guy who's going to retire at the end of the season, Dirk Nowitzki. You have a really good lineup in this 3-point contest here and the low sperm count 3-point contest. There's a lot of good guys in this that you could pick. Galler, I'm going to go with you first. Okay. Which one of these guys is going to win this contest?
Well, I agree that there's a lot of good guys in this group here. I don't want to say that these guys are going to fluff off and give it to Dirk, but I got to go with Steph Curry.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I would think that would probably be the popularity pick.
Buddy Hield, though, that kid's pretty good too.
Are you going to go with Buddy Hield as your dark horse?
I would say it's between Steph and Buddy.
Oh, okay. I like that.
I feel like Steph. I just feel like Steph being in the league longer. I just feel like not that he's going to run away with it, but he'll probably win.
It's the obvious choice, I think, Steph Curry. It's not my choice, but uh, Gio, you're up next, man. I think I know who you're gonna go with, but surprise me.
I'm gonna go with Steph Curry. If that's a surprise, I'm gonna go with him just because.
I said I figured.
No, just because I think he's the more shooter that could really shoot the three with consistency. I think at times we see players who are streaky, and I just think in this competition, I'm going to give the edge to Stephen Curry. But I think my dark horse is going to be Seth, which is his brother, or Seth, whatever the hell his name is.
Oh, his brother. Yeah, that's his brother. Are you serious? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
honestly didn't know that.
I'm fucking with you guys. All right, so you're going an all Curry, type of moment here. Seth for the win, Seth for the dark horse. I like Chris's Buddy Hield pick. That's a very good dark horse. My pick is a very surprising one here. I'm going to go with the automatic upset, and I like Devin Booker for the win here.
No.
Yes, give me Devin Booker for the win, and my
way out of line here, Rudy.
No. This is my fucking show. I can say whatever the fuck I want, and I will be right all the time. Devin Booker for the win, and my dark horse is Joe Harris from Brooklyn. I'm going way outside the box and say one of these two guys is going to win. No, I'm not smoking weed. It is not legal.
Wait, did you drink Mountain Dew before the show?
I have a daughter, so I mean. My sperm count does work. Somehow it's working. I don't know how, but I used to drink a lot of Mountain Dew, so I don't know. I mean, I'm going with those guys. Devin Booker, he's a very good shooter from beyond the arc. He's not as consistent as Steph Curry, but I like Devin Booker for the win. And Joe Harris is that guy who, when he gets hot, he gets hot. I mean, from West Virginia, Joe Harris, he was shooting lights out in college. There's no reason why he can't do it here. So, yeah, Devin Booker for the win. Joe Harris is my dark horse. If you want to exact, another sleeper, I mean, you got to throw in Damian Lillard. I mean, Lillard gets hot fast. He could easily run away with this competition. So we've got the low sperm count with the low sperm 3-point contest. And finally, we are going to the slam dunk. The Rambassador, it's sponsored by AT&T. Shitty service, right? I have AT&T and I get good service, but I think it's expensive. I mean, it's fucking expensive. I think it's the most expensive out of all the fucking phone companies.
No, I think Verizon. I think Verizon's up there.
So then you really like just AT&T Slam Dunk. You have no problem.
Well, if I'm gonna choose out of Taco Bell and sperm count, I'm gonna go with AT&T on this one.
Wow. Okay, so we're just going to keep it as the AT&T Slam Dunk. Per the Ambassador, you only have 4 guys to pick from. You have Dennis Smith Jr., Miles Bridges, Hamidou Diallo, and you also have John Collins. Now, these aren't names you really associate with Slam Dunk with. Obviously, probably the one pick you're going to have to probably be like, oh, this is the one that he's going to really win this contest and run away with it. Is Dennis Smith Jr., but who knows? We'll have to see if we've got Dennis Smith winning. I personally am not going to say who is winning right now, but Gio, who do you have winning right now at the AT&T Slam Dunk contest?
It's Dennis Smith, and it's not even close in my opinion.
I figured
this contest has become not too good the past few years, but Dennis Smith,
Gordon, and Levine.
Well, yeah. But I'm going to go with Dennis Smith. I just think he's a better dunk out of all of them. I'm hoping for something new, but as the slam dunk contest goes throughout the years, it's starting to get a bit played out, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. It's not what it used to be. I remember it being Wilkins and Jordan. You've got Vince Carter that one year. I still think the Levine Gordon dunk contest was the best one that I've seen. Oh God, it's up there with probably the Jordan and Wilkins dunk contest in Chicago. But man, honestly, and I'm gonna get you a little tip here, or a little insight. Next year, the All-Star Weekend's in Chicago, so Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon have already pretty much talked about doing the dunk contest next year since it's in Chicago. And since Levine plays for Chicago, what a better way to do it than in Chicago? And that would be awesome to see Gordon and go back at it.
It's probably going to be the highlight of the Bulls season next year.
Maybe so. Maybe so. Galler, who do you got winning this contest?
Who are these people again? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know, right?
Obviously, I've heard of the top two. They're Miles Bridges and Dennis Smith. Those two, I mean, I've heard of just watching SportsCenter or watching the games or whatever. But I'm gonna go with Miles Bridges just because.
Okay, and that's not a bad pick. I don't think that's a bad pick at all. You look at the four guys, and Miles Bridges is a very good dunker. He was a very good dunker in college. Diallo's just he's nobody. He's like Tim Perry from back in the day of the dunk contest. He's just a guy to fill spot. To me, it comes down between Dennis Smith Jr. and John Collins. I'm gonna go with Dennis Smith Jr. because he's shorter and he's smaller than Collins. I don't like a big dunker. If your name is not Larry Nance, I don't like you in the dunk contest. So I'm gonna go with Smith Jr. It wouldn't surprise me if John Collins won this dunk contest. It really wouldn't surprise me if Bridges wins the dunk contest either. I just know Diallo's I think he's going to make a fool out of himself. But then again, we don't know, man. These guys can pull shit out of their ass that we've never seen before. I love Gordon and Levine, all this other shit. So I think Dennis Smith Jr. is going to win this dunk contest over the weekend. And we've got our picks in. These are our picks for the All-Star Weekend festivities. And you've got so many stars this weekend. LeBron, Giannis, Kyrie, that dickhead that used to play for the Spurs. You've got Kemba Walker.
Oh, Kawhi Leonard?
Oh, yeah. I couldn't remember his name. I know it started with a C. Steph Curry, Paul George, Embiid, Harden. All these guys are going to play. So, Chris, are you taking – and I'm not even going to say look at the rosters. Fuck the rosters. I don't care. Are you taking Team LeBron or Team Giannis?
LeBron.
Team LeBron. Gio, who do you got?
Well, I'm going to go on a big limb here. I'm going to go Team Giannis, and I'm going to give the MVP to Kemba Walker.
Oh, wow. Pick some MVPs?
Yeah, I guess Galler, give me an MVP because you went with
a little curveball there.
Wow. Yeah.
Man. Harden.
Harden, okay. Not bad. I'm gonna go with Team I'm gonna go with Team Giannis because that other team has that dick face that played here for a while. And I'm gonna give the MVP to Paul George. How does that sound?
Okay.
Yeah, Dex said y'all don't disagree with me. This is my fucking show. You don't disagree with me on it. So Paul George is gonna win the MVP over Kemba Walker and James Harden. So
I'm looking at the rosters. Who are you talking about, Rudy? Used to play here.
There's a guy that got traded out of the country.
Yeah.
David Robinson?
It's coming back.
and that's why you're behind the glass most of the time because you have to give me these notes and everything and all that. But most importantly, we've got great teams. We got two great teams playing this weekend, nothing but all-stars.
I will say I like that trade they did.
You do like the DeRozan trade?
No.
Oh, you mean talking about the All-Star trade?
Yeah. Ben Simmons, Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, that was a good trade. That definitely was a good trade. But speaking of the best teams, like these are the two best players in the world for the NBA. Which again, hashtag not my NBA. I'm gonna say that until all these guys fucking retire. We've got great basketball. When NBA was the NBA, and this is back in the 90s. The 90s was that era of basketball where everything was on cloud nine. Everything was perfect. You had Jordan, you had Magic, you had early part of the 90s, you had the Bad Boys, you had tons of players, Robinson. At the end of the 90s, you had the Tim Duncan era started. So the 90s, was that time of basketball where it was just awesome. I can't describe it anymore. It was awesome. I loved the 80s of basketball as well, but the 90s was that time, the era where everything was transitioning. You saw the legends starting to go, fade into obscurity. You saw the new guys coming up, the new legends, Kobe, Tim Duncan, Shaq, all these guys were coming up. So we pretty much, for a quick background, in the 90s, the East was dominant. They won, I believe it was, 6 out of the 10 years or 7 out of the 10 years, if I'm not mistaken.
So you have the Bulls win 6, right? And then didn't Detroit win?
Yeah, Detroit beat Portland. See, so Houston won 2 and the Spurs won 1. Wow. So 3. So yeah, 7 out of the 10 titles in the 90s went to the East. Now, we're going to talk about one thing here. What team of the 90s? And Galler, you may need help with this because you were born in the 80s. You were just
late 80s, yeah.
Yeah, you were just a sperm in your dad's ball sack, man. So you may not know much of the 90s as is, but
well, I mean, I lived in the 90s, but
yeah,
Rudy, goddamn. I mean,
Rudy, how old are you, Rudy?
What I'm saying is you were born in the late 80s.
I was 3 in 1990.
Okay, you were 3. So we all know that at 3 years old, you're analyzing NBA games and watching everything.
Obviously, yeah.
90s. Okay, well, 90s then. You've got East dominant. You had a shitload of teams in the 90s that were loaded. I'm going to say they were loaded. You've got the Blazers. We're talking Drexler, Porter. Who else was on there? Percy. All these guys are on there for early part of the 90s when they took on the Pistons. And then you had the Pistons, the Bad Boys. You had Thomas, Dumars, Laimbeer, Rodman, Mahorn, Microwave, Vinnie Johnson. You go to the Bulls. I mean, you've got Jordan, Pippen, Kukoc, all those guys from the 90s. Just too many teams. Which team was the best team, in your opinion, to not win a title? And I'm talking, man, there are so many teams to pick from. So you can give me a couple. We'll do a couple of teams that you feel was the best team in the 90s to never win a title. So, Gio, I'm going to give you, this was your topic. I love this topic. I'm going to give you the floor on it first. So what do you got, man?
Well, when kind of breaking up this list, I divide it into East and West just because it's kind of a difficult list. I think in the East it's a little bit easier. I think my number one team in the East is the New York Knicks. I think that team, the physicality, Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley, I mean, that entire team was very, very good. And it took the Bulls to Game 7, I believe, once. They just couldn't get over the hump. And then they got to the finals, and then, they lost to Houston in 7 games. So I think the New York Knicks was probably the number one team. But a close second to me is the Orlando Magics. Shaq and Penny. I mean, that team in 95, they did beat the Bulls. I understand Jordan came back later in the season, but that one year, that Magic team was very, very good. A young Shaq, Penny Hardaway. So those top 2 teams, if you want to give me a dark horse, maybe the Pacers, but I think the Knicks and the Orlando Magics. And then in the Western Conference, I mean, you talked about earlier, Rudy, the Portland Trailblazers. I mean, that might be one of the most talented teams that ever won. I mean, they had a stacked roster. And those Seattle Supersonic teams with Gary Payton, Sean Kemp, and Detlef Schrempf, that was a very good backcourt. And unfortunately, they couldn't beat the Bulls. And then that one year they lose against the Denver Nuggets in the first round when they won 60 games. And then you also have the Utah Jazz with Karl Malone and John Stockton. I mean, that team may have been the most talented team, but they were so close. So I'm going to give the edge to probably the Utah Jazz. And if you want to throw Charles Barkley's, Phoenix Suns teams in there as well, but I'm going to go with the Western Conference, the Utah Jazz. And then in the East, I'm going to go with the New York Knicks. Those are my top 2 teams, but if you want to throw them any other teams in there, I mean, it's kind of like a toss-up.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's like every team that was in the finals that lost in the 90s was a great team and could have won easily. That's my opinion right there. The only team that, I mean, sadly they did take 2 games off of them was the Jazz against the Bulls when Michael won his 6th ring. They still took 2 games off of them. And that was the best Bulls team. That was one of the best teams ever assembled.
Yeah.
And for Utah to take 2 games out of them, everyone was expecting the Bulls to sweep everybody that year, and Utah put up a hell of a fight. So, yeah, you've got. I mean, there's so many teams, and then there's also teams that really didn't make the playoffs.
Wait.
They didn't make the finals.
Rudy, I forgot one team, the
What's
'95
that?
Spurs. I mean, that team
Yeah.
was actually a very good team. The MVP and David Robinson, and then for some reason, Akeem Olajuwon took David to the woodshed and just showed him who the real MVP was.
Everybody remembers that up and under move that he put the dream shake.
So the '95 Spurs is also a team that as well had a very, very good season. And from kind of doing my research, the Knicks in '95 expected to play the Spurs in the finals, but instead they got the Rockets.
Yeah, true that. Hey, Chris, what do you got, man? Let's see if your baby boomer answers are right.
What are we talking about again? Basketball in the 90s?
90s
honestly, when Gio was talking, I was thinking of Charles Barkley. I swear to God. That's, but honestly, teams that did not win, is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, no. What we're basically saying is that teams in the 90s that were good enough to win the title but didn't win the title.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've got tons of teams.
Yeah, I'm sure we do, but
and that's why I said you weren't really following at that time.
I was not.
So yeah, and that's why I said
the end of the '90s, like the Spurs won their first championship. Like that's probably when I started.
Yeah, that is nothing on you.
Teams that were good,
Yeah, no, and that is nothing on you. I mean, I didn't expect you to have a whole lot of stuff on this topic anyway. I figured if you wanted to grab a team out there, you could. It's not a big deal because, again, you're the man behind the glass, bro. That's where you are, and you give me my insight, and that's what I love about you.
I don't,
So I don't have any wrongs about anything, brother.
So I might want to change my. I will say I might want to change my vote on the slam dunk to Collins now because he just went off. Apparently, my phone's going off.
No, you are.
I know. I'm locked in. No, I'm locked in.
Bridges, I'm going to give a quick take because where Chris is going to excel, and the biggest reason why he's on here is he's going to take the Rated R Mad Lib challenge. Plus, he's going to get a couple of questions on the Joe Garcia gas chamber. We've recently renamed that to the Joe Garcia gas chamber. So real quick for my take, Utah and the West, definitely one of the best teams to never win a title. Karl Malone, Jeff Hornacek, John Stockton. You had great role players like Byron Russell as well. These guys, they should have won a title. There's no reason why they shouldn't have. You have the Supersonics as well. Like Gio said, you've got Gary Payton, Sean Kemp, before he gained like 50 million pounds at that.
Well, and also the drugs.
Drugs as well. The one team that should have won the title but didn't win the title is the Phoenix Suns, the 93 Phoenix Suns. Kevin Johnson, Charles Barkley, Dan Marley. But you also had role players that made a name for themselves on that team where they went to other teams, and try to make a name for themselves, and they did it. Kind of like the Spurs effect. One of them being Richard Dumas. Richard Dumas was a huge factor on that team, and they should have beaten the Bulls that year. I was surprised they didn't. Barkley was playing out of his mind that year.
Yeah, no, I believe he won the MVP that year, right?
Yeah, he was MVP. And if it wasn't for a John Paxson three-pointer, the Suns probably would have won that series, I think. That they should have won. So my team is the Jazz. I give Phoenix the absolute utmost respect as runner-ups. It's 1A, 1B. On the East side, you've only really got the Knicks and the Magic in the 90s. I like the Knicks. The Knicks were loaded. I mean, Oakley, you had Oakley, Ewing, John Starks, all these guys. Then in 99, you throw in Latrell Sprewell. I believe Charlie Ward was on that team as well. You still had a lot of good players on that 99 team. I expected them to whip the Spurs' ass that year, truthfully. I didn't expect. Yes, I did not expect. When you look at the rosters of the Knicks and the Spurs of that season.
I don't know, Rudy. Tim Duncan was really coming to his own.
Yeah, but what you had was an old Mario Ellie that played big.
He did. And Jerome Kersey was on that team too.
And Jerome Kersey, Terry Porter was also on that team. You had veterans on that team that played their ass off. You've got Kersey and Porter that got their first ring.
I think if Patrick Ewing was able, because I don't believe he played in that series, because I think he was out.
It was Marcus Camby was a starter.
And if Patrick was there, though, Patrick was kind of on his last legs, to be honest with you. But I wasn't very old at that time. I think I was 11 years old. But no, I thought going in that series that Duncan and Robinson would. Marcus Camby and man, what was that white guy's name? Darn it.
Michael Jackson?
No, Chris Dudley, right?
Yeah, Chris Dudley.
So they didn't have enough. But no, I mean, for a number 8 team to get to the finals, that was actually very, very impressive. Because they beat a Miami Heat team that was actually very, very good and beat them. And then I believe they beat the Atlanta Hawks in the next round, and then they beat the Indiana Pacers. So it was a great run.
Yeah, no, it was. And that was a hell of a team. That Knicks team was a hell of a team. I'm surprised that they did not beat the Spurs. I really, really am. I'm sorry. It is what it is. But jumping off of that, we're pretty much coming out to the end of the show here. We've talked NBA, we've talked All-Star Weekend, we talked best team of the 90s. We're trying to keep this show rolling. And before I get into Chris Galler's segment here, we are going to punish him for not knowing any 90s teams. So he's going to get a big fat question from Joe Garcia's gas chamber. Plus, he has to go through the. Plus, he has to go through the.
Punished for being born in early late 80s. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem, man. Hey, no problem. Hey, we do everything here. We got a quick announcement real quick. The San Antonio Commanders, part of the AAF here in San Antonio.
Whoa, Rudy, the Commanders?
Yeah, the Commanders. The only team in San Antonio that I actually give a shit about right now. The Commanders are obviously 1-0. Nice. They had a great start to the season. They played Orlando, which I think the Commanders in Orlando, the San Antonio Orlando, they are the top teams in the AAF after week 1, in my opinion. This is going to be the game of the week. And I was notified by the boss, Joe Garcia, earlier today that I would be a part of the Commanders podcast with him. So that is a huge announcement for me. I am blessed. I am honored. I am taking this ride in this journey for everybody in the network along with Joe. So I appreciate Joe for that. I just wanted to let him know I really, really do appreciate that. Again,
congrats, Rudy.
Thanks. I appreciate it. I'm excited. I mean,
don't let Joe talk about the Cowboys, though. Don't let him talk about the Cowboys in that, please.
No, we're going to talk straight Commanders. No Cowboy and no R. Kelly talk. And speaking of R. Kelly talk, Chris, so Joe Garcia is the main guy now for our gas chamber. And for everybody that doesn't know the gas chamber, it's a series of questions that we ask. They're very rude. They are very obnoxious. They are very disgusting questions that we ask anyone that's new to the program. So, Chris, there's only really 2 questions that we're going to ask you tonight because we want to get you to the Mad Lib section here before we go. First off, Joe's always wondering if you had to have someone sit on your face bare naked, butt naked at that, who would it be? Joe's favorite girl is Honey Boo Boo's mom. So you have either Honey Boo Boo's mom or you have Precious. Who would you have sitting on your face bare naked, sweaty ass cheeks just dripping all over your face?
Wait, has he seen Precious before?
I don't think I have.
You've never seen Precious?
Hold on 1 second. Oh, wait.
You have a widescreen monitor?
Yeah. Hold on.
Okay. If you've got a widescreen monitor, then you're good.
Yeah. I've seen this chick before.
Okay, so who is it going to be? Honey Boo Boo's mom or Precious?
He's seen her before.
I don't know what happened. My mic went muted.
Right, whatever.
Jesus. Oh, God.
You ain't got time to think, bro. It's best like a Band-Aid. Just rip it off.
Precious, I guess.
He's got Precious all over that pretty little face of his. Now, Now, Joe Kelly is, or I'm sorry, Joe Garcia is a
Wait, did you
R.
just call
Kelly.
him Joe Kelly?
Joe Kelly.
Joe Kelly. That came out wrong. He's probably cussing me out in the background here. Joe Garcia. Joe Garcia is a huge R. Kelly fan. He's a huge fan of pissing on people's face. So, Chris, what we want to know as part of the gas chamber is, would you rather have R. Kelly piss on your face, or would you rather get fucked by Bill Cosby?
How did Joe get these damn shits from, man?
I know. We're just paid to ask the questions. I'm thinking Bill Cosby wouldn't be that bad if he's trying to fuck you, because he probably can't get it up. But maybe you're
that, and he can't see either. So, but that's scary.
Yeah. I mean, but then if you're getting pissed on the face, that's kind of. I'm pretty sure R. Kelly has some shit, in his dick that we don't know about. So
probably, I'm gonna go.
I'm even gonna say Cosby has a condom. So we'll give. Cosby.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he's got a condom. He's not gonna do you bareback.
No, I'm gonna go with R. Kelly.
You are gonna go with the piss on the.
Yeah.
Wow, R. Kelly.
Hey, R. Kelly for the win. Joe Garcia, I'm pretty sure, has fallen out of his chair. We'll check on Joe here in a little while. But before we go, I've got one last thing. Chris, you are on the Rated R Sportscast Mad Libs part. This is the last part of the show here. I would like to thank everybody for joining in. Those of y'all that are listening, Mad Libs is going to become a very, very, very key point to the show here for anyone that's new. So give me a body part, Chris.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Give me a body part of the body.
This is the Rated R Sportscast, right?
Yeah. You want to put dick?
Yeah, let's go with dick.
Okay, we got a dick. Now give me an adjective. Basically, I don't know if you remember English. Adjective.
I do not.
Okay.
I played video games.
Adjective is describing something. You're going to describe something big, huge, hairy.
Yeah. Let's go with Harry. Yeah.
Harry. Okay. Now I just need a first name. Anybody's first name.
Brianna.
That's not a good start, bro. Last name. I need a last name.
Last name.
Campos.
What did he say?
All right, he said Campos. We're gonna go with Campos.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, Campos.
Okay, I'm gonna say if anything ends with Brianna kissing Campos or something, it's Mad Libs, bro. It's Mad Libs.
That's bad. Yeah. Well, but she walked into the room, so.
Okay, well, give me a verb. The next three answers are verbs, so give me 3 verbs.
Come on, man.
Okay, verbs, because I can't believe you're younger than me.
Yeah, man.
Really.
Describe an action, right?
Describe an action. That's an action. Banging, fucking.
Yeah.
I mean.
Let's go with.
I don't know if you want to go farting. We're gonna go with farting first. Yeah. All right, I need another. I need 2 more.
Oh shit. Okay. Humping.
Humping. And see, I like this because Gio was like
farting and
last week.
One more.
Well, I was trying to get some good words in there.
Kissing.
All right. And your last topic, I need a feeling from you.
A feeling?
Yes. A feeling.
Sad.
All right. So these are your answers. You got Dick, Harry, Brianna, Campos, farting, humping, kissing, and sad. Your topic for tonight. Now, Gio's topic last week was Avengers Infinity War. This topic is a NBA player talking after the game.
Should be good.
So we're going to see how this goes. An NBA player talking after the game. From that third shot, he hit my dick, but it felt hairy. Brianna Campos said, I farting, humping, and kissing when that mid-range shot is not going for me. I am in a really good mood. Making shots late helps because it gives you sad. That did not come out very well, but you know what? That is awesome. That is awesome.
But that's the whole point, right, of these things?
Basically, yeah. From the third shot, he hit my dick, but it felt hairy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you hit somebody's dick, and actually, Brianna Campos is the one that hit someone's dick. Yeah. So, I have no connection to Brianna, man. I'm sorry, other than she's a friend of mine. So, don't get mad at me. That's your Mad Lib. You came up with this, you and Gio. So that's the Mad Lib.
Wait. I only had one word.
Yeah, okay. Well, you put Campos in there, so Now apparently Chris's wife is married to me somehow through Mad Libs now. So that is the Mad Lib section of this show. We're gonna have more. Austin's gonna actually be in next week, and I'm gonna find the
replace
best
this
one.
nightmare.
No. Chris is always gonna come on the show from time to time here, but Austin's on next week, and I want to try to get the best baseball Mad Lib for this guy. I want to really get him good on this Mad Lib shit. So that is the show for now. We talked everything NBA All-Star. We talked 90s teams. We gave Chris a couple of chamber questions. I appreciate y'all for joining in. Gio, where can they find you at for all the stuff you do, which you're part of this show pretty much permanently. So
yeah, so you can find me on the Radar Podcast. You can also find me on Twitter, Coach Gio56. And I can't wait for football season to start.
Yeah, no kidding. Definitely baseball's around the corner too. So
yeah, yep.
And as far as Chris goes, Chris, where can they reach you on Twitter? I know you have a Twitter account.
I do.
So
it's official Mr. 300.
Cool.
Exactly like it's spelled.
Official
and
Mr.
Instagram as well. We'll start posting. Yeah. I do have an Instagram. Yeah, we're gonna start. That's gonna start popping off too. So
okay,
that's also official Mr. 300.
And for the fart noise in the background, this is Rudy Campos Jr., the Radar Sports Star. You can find me at rated_R podcast on Twitter. We have a Facebook page, the Rated R Sportscast Facebook page. You can find all of our episodes that we've come out with, all 3 of them now. You can find it on Anchor. You can find it on, I believe it's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts as well, and a few other platforms as well. Mainly Anchor. Mainly Anchor, for sure. So for Chris, for Gio, for myself, we appreciate y'all for joining us tonight. Thank you for joining us. Hope the All-Star Weekend is great. Chris, thanks for joining us again.
Thanks for having me.
I'm pretty sure you're going to go to bed tonight dreaming of being pissed on by R. Kelly. I'm never going to get that out of my head. But
drip.
Yeah. Another, I guess, that is what it is, right? It is the Rated R Sportscast. So thanks everybody for joining. And I don't even know if that's not bad. No, for Radar Podcast, Radar Sportscast is Rudy Campos Jr. signing off. See y'all again next week. Thanks, guys.